Well, here we are in the sanctuary. Hello, Michael Anno. Welcome to Sanctuary. How are you doing today?
Hi, Debra. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Glad to hear it. You have an amazing role here at 18th Street. I think your formal title is Director of Programming or Public?
Deputy Director of Artistic Programs.
Wow. So, and that is very, very important here. That's one of your roles, and you've been here about 5 or 6 years. Yeah. But you also have other roles. You've taught, I think you've worked on the university level. You're also a husband to a beautiful and wonderful wife and father to 2 gorgeous little girls. So you are one busy guy, but always making time for a lovely smile and interaction for all of us. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep that smile on your face all the time with everything you have to do, but it's very, very much appreciated. I wondered if you could maybe speak a little bit to your background and how this kind of brought you to 18th Street, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about what you do here or any other projects or works you're involved with that you would sort of like the world to know about. We have no idea who is going to see this video. So if there's something you want to put out there, this is an opportunity in a very informal way. So firstly, your background. Can you share a little bit about it?
I grew up in Southern California, grew up in Torrance. Went to school, in Orange County, and then started working in Los Angeles in museums, and so I really considered myself a Southern California kid. Looking back, it seems like the path is very clear to where I am, exploring performance art, education, museum practices, nonprofit practices, to where I am today at 18th Street overseeing much of our programming. My experiences at the Norton Simon Museum right after school were incredible. That was Art History 101, but everyone there was dead, so then I got to work at the new museum in New York, and that was cool.
Amazing.
Everyone was the most brilliant workers and thinkers and artists I'd ever met.
Was that after Marcia Tucker?
Yeah, that was after Marcia Tucker.
Wow.
It was 2 years into their new building.
Wow.
And so they had just had the triennial, and we're just stepping into that. So I got to work under some incredible curators and artists.
And you were living in New York
And
for
yeah.
time. Yeah. Wow.
And I love New York, but it was a lot, always, all the time.
Right.
And I found myself applying to graduate school down in San Diego, where I got my MFA in social practice, arts practice, right?
Wow.
Focusing on pedagogist practice, so rethinking teaching. Instead of being about learning facts or numbers, it's about a shared experience. We go to the ballet and we expect certain things from the ballet that we don't expect from a classroom.
Right.
And vice versa. So,
Can you describe your vision of social practice in a sentence or two? Because in a way, what we're doing right here is social practice. We're engaging someone who wasn't directly involved in hands-on making of this installation to be involved with it.
Yeah, to me, social practice is often about bringing community together in whatever structure that might be, right? Community practice, relational aesthetics, these all kind of float within that same space. Even performance, right? But where community-based practice or social practice really thinks about is the relationship of the artist in community and the relationship to community,
Right.
Versus being the community is the audience or another.
Got it.
So I had this wonderful opportunity there to develop my thesis and work there, working at the museum, and then I found myself at 18th Street, getting to work with this incredible group of living artists who are emergent, who are experienced and mentors, who are, in the process of developing their practice.
Was your title different when you first came in? I seem to recall you were doing more of like sort of events and then sort of developed into kind of managing everything around that.
I was very lucky. 18th Street is an amazing organization. It's, smaller organizations offer more unique opportunities, and you end up having an opportunity to do more different types of things.
And grow.
So I did start at 18th Street doing our events, public programs, openings, anything that the public would engage with. Over time, I began overseeing other projects. I started overseeing our statewide project with the California Arts Council,
Wow.
where we received a $3 million grant from them to oversee a series of 18 artist projects across the state. We were able to offer those artists a salary, living wage, healthcare benefits, and retirement package for some of them first time they'd ever received this. In addition to that, also project funding. And so I ran that for a year or so, and then once that sunset, I began working on wider projects at 18th Street.
And I think, it also shows how wide the effect of 18th Street is and all that it's doing. There are, I think, maybe 30 artists in residence, including like myself, who's a local and has a daily studio here, but then others coming from all over the country and organizations. So it's a really wide reach. You've done great, Michael, and we're going to wind it up in a moment, but can you tell us at all about what sanctuary means to you, and does 18th Street provide that in any way for you? Perhaps behind the scenes of all the work you guys have to do, it is not exactly the same experience as for the rest of us.
Well,
you're under a lot of deadlines, a lot.
I mean, we're here to make the space for our community. I think I was in a great conversation recently with some artists and some art administrators, and one of the artists said, sometimes we need someone in a suit at the door to make sure the door stays held for us.
Right.
And I think that's something important that I can offer. Many of the artists in this community is making sure they have the space and the place to do the work they need to do.
Right.
Creating a sanctuary, right, for them. When I first started coming to 18th Street when I was an undergrad, I'd come up here from Orange County, from UC Irvine, and come to our open studios and shows.
Wow.
And it was an amazing place, a vibrant place.
Yeah.
But that's all I knew of it, was open studios and some shows,
Right.
Starting to work here, it's a very, very deep community in terms of the artist community, in terms of the history of the artist community and their work with outreach and, pop groups that don't have resources or other opportunities. 18th Street works in well-being. When I talk about sanctuary, I think about, what this place can do for the community around us, for the neighbors around us.
Yeah.
In this last year, a building just down the block, formerly a historic black neighborhood, for the most part gone and forgotten now. We've been working for the last decade or so with the city to have one of the buildings landmarked, and we were just able to have it landmarked. A decade ago, the city asked, why not sell it? Not understanding the value of land ownership for young black families or black families in the 1900s.
So building, really taking a stand on how things develop in reference to the history.
Well, what histories are told, how we're telling that history, who we're remembering, who we're choosing to remember, right? And thinking about that sense of who belongs or who feels like they belong.
Right.
We want to create that sense of belonging on our campus.
Right.
Everybody feels like they know their neighbor, they can go to their neighbor for a cup of sugar.
Right.
But how do we expand that to our local community?
Right. That's fantastic. And all of the programming, or a great deal of it, is open to the whole community. And there is a community of people that are involved with 18th Street, in that way. Well, this has been wonderful. I've loved hearing about your background. I want to thank you so much for spending the time and looking in my studio and availing me of your skills and knowledge. And I want to leave you with, may you know, safe space. I'll see you later.